Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Feel free to write to me at walkwithtak@gmail.com if you have any question regarding to this video. I've been using my fast cooking system for almost 10 years, and the word fast stands for flavor chasing, advanced peppering, stir frying, and tempeh-based cooking. And I think one of the most important aspects of this cooking system is that it allowed me to have much more fun in home cooking. Now, I would have never imagined that I would cook every single day, 7 days a week. In fact, I hardly eat out anymore because I enjoy the process so much, and one of the main reasons is the possibility for exploration. About a year ago, I found some lamb loin roast, and I always interested in lamb, but I have not cooked that much lamb because most of the time they are quite expensive, and I'm not sure that I would be able to cook them correctly. But I decided I'm going to give it a try. Now, obviously, the roast itself is too much for me to eat in one meal. I use the meat mainly as a condiment. So after I cut them up, I advance prep them like I would do with most of my other meat proteins. And I portion them in about 8 ounces, which is about the same as I would normally do with chicken. I would then freeze them in this flat configuration, which will allow me to thaw them out in a bowl of lukewarm water, usually in about 5 to 10 minutes. This allows me to have any type of meat protein that I want, and in my freezer I usually have a collection of quite a few. Next, I'm going to marinate them using a method known as dry marinating, and this method including the use of cornstarch. And the amount of cornstarch I add depending on the type of meat. And in this case, I use about 1 tablespoon. And then I'm going to add a little bit of my Walk with Tak basic seasoning mix, which you can learn more about it. You take a look at this video. And then I will add a touch of sugar. Now this method is the method that I use for marinating almost most of my meat proteins. And I call it a dry marinating method. It's simply because it's that I do not add any wet seasoning agent to it. And this will allow me to keep the meat dry. For spice, I'm going to use a Sichuan peppercorn. Now the Sichuan peppercorn is well known for making kung pao dishes. In this case, this kung pao lamb. I'm going to rely on this to give a numbing flavor to the tongue. And this is also accompanied by some dry chili pepper. Again, the dry chili pepper have many different kinds. And this one will give great flavor. And also, to further accentuate the spiciness of the dish, I'm going to use some chili pepper flakes. I'm going to stir fry this dish in my Cuisinart 14-inch stainless steel wok. I'm going to start out with about 2 tablespoons of canola oil. Now, one thing about stir frying is that the general procedure for stir frying is pretty much the same. And the most important one is that to season your wok properly, because you want to create a non-stick cooked surface so the food ingredient will not stick to the surface of the wok. And the reason that it is important to use a wok with natural surface because you can gain much higher heat capacity in comparison to a wok with non-stick coating. Now, the first step in cooking most of the meat protein is to sear the meat protein. In order to sear the protein properly, you want the oil temperature as high as possible. So in this case, you want to use an oil with a high smoking point. And by coating the meat with cornstarch, it will prevent it from having too much fluid. And then I am going to add the dry chili pepper right to the wok at this point. Now the dry chili pepper will actually being fried by the oil and will release both aroma as well as the spice molecules into the meat. Next, I'm going to add some sliced onion. Now, the onion plays a very important role because not only it can generate aroma, but it also will reduce the temperature in the wok. At this point, I already dropped the temperature of the burner to about medium because after searing, you want to cook the meat slowly. Next, I follow by adding the Sichuan chili peppercorn. Now, there are different stages you can add this various type of reagent. And in order to cook it properly, have the right sequence is really important. Well, sometimes you can change the sequence a little bit. In this case, I switched the sequence between the peppercorn and the hot chili pepper, just an experiment to see how I will be able to get the flavor that I'm looking for. And next, I'm going to add some zucchini as well as some red bell pepper. Now, the zucchini plays an important role because it adds some texture as well as some flavor, but it also adds color to the dish. The red bell pepper is important for this dish, but I also have some yellow bell pepper. Well, I think I'm going to make this dish colorful. The color of a dish actually turned out to be really important because the saying goes is that we eat with our eyes as well. If we saw a dish that is attractive, most likely you will find the dish to be enjoyable. And anytime when you put in red color to a dish, it makes the dish more vibrant. And this is why the combination of different color create the type of interactions that stimulate our visual as well as our appetite. The next step is that I'm going to add some red pepper chili flakes. Now the chili flakes plays an important role because it actually adds spiciness in a slightly different way as it will be produced by the Sichuan peppercorn or as the hot chili pepper. And when you combine them together, it greatly enhances the spiciness of the dish in terms of its complexity. It makes the flavor more interesting. And in fact, this is sometimes what makes a spicy dish better than the others, is the complexity of the spicy flavor. Oyster sauce is my go-to sauce for seasoning. Oyster sauce is universally used in stir-frying as well as now in many other types of cooking too. And the reason oyster sauce is so popular is because it adds umami flavor to a dish. Oyster sauce frequently combined with sugar because sugar able to enhance the umami flavor as well. And when you combine these two together, it gives the dish the type of savoriness which really unmatched. And this is sometimes what is known as that Chinese flavor. This flavor is well known in Chinese food. And for this reason, I find it is excellent in combining with the spicy flavor as well. The final step is that I'm going to do a quick taste testing, and this will allow me to gauge whether the dish has achieved the goal that I want. Well, this time I got it just right the first time. I don't need to make any adjustment further, and this dish is now done. Now I'm ready to plate the dish. Now, plating the dish turned out to be really one of the most enjoyable things that I like about home cooking. Now, somebody might find that plating a dish is nothing complicated. All you have to do is just put the food on the dish. But it turned out that there are some really interesting approach, and a lot of time what makes a dining experience better than the others is quite often is how the dishes are being plated. And in expensive, fancy restaurants, plating plays an important role. Now, in this case, this dish is plated with some white rice, and this will allow me to create the contrast between the different colors in this dish with the white color of the rice. And I think quite often we tend to forget when you plate the dish properly, it might not take that much time at all. It just takes a little bit for thinking. And then how you combine the dish together can have a significant impact. Last but not the least, a kung pao chicken is always called for some type of nut. Normally they find that peanut is the most frequently used. However, you can switch with different type of nuts. I love cashew, so for me, it's a no-brainer that the cashew will go into this dish. When I first decided I want to do more home cooking, my main concern is health. I realized that the commercialized convenience food as well as restaurant food are not doing me too much good in terms of my overall health. And I feel that if I can cook for myself, I know what I put into my body. But that actually has evolved into the fact that I want to do home cooking because I love the food that I cook. Because I know exactly how I like it. When I cook this dish with the lamb and with the different type of spicy that I use, it's totally up to me how I want to adjust the flavor. Now, Americans are cooking less and less, which I can understand why, and partly because it's that home cooking is a chore. And the only way that I can cook on a regular basis is that I have a cooking system. And that's why I developed the fast cooking system, which allow me to make home cooking spontaneous and intuitive. And this is what makes home cooking fun and enjoyable. If you'd like to learn more about my fast cooking system, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. So keep on cooking, and I will see you tomorrow.